How to negotiate with startup investors. I'll never forget it. When I was negotiating the final terms of our initial $12 million of funding, Raul, the venture capitalist leading the deal for Donald Ventures, famously told me that there was no negotiation on the term sheet. And that's not exactly what you want to hear. The point is that it's tough to negotiate with startup investors. However, it can be done. I'm going to teach you in today's video when you can negotiate with investors, when you can't negotiate with investors, what you can negotiate with investors, the terms you should care about in your term sheet, and how you can gain leverage in your investor negotiations. Finally, you'll want to stick around for my one final thought segment. It's the most important advice I'll give you in today's video. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. When can't you negotiate with investors? Let's get back to my story. It was very hard for us to raise our initial funding. By the time Donald Ventures gave us a term sheet, 63 venture capital firms had passed on investing in us. In fact, there were only 2 firms left on our list when we contacted Donald Ventures. I received the Donald Ventures term sheet at 5 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. Most term sheets have expiration dates, and this one was no different. The expiration date was 5 p.m. on Saturday, so we had 24 hours to come to an agreement with DV. Raul and I scheduled a call for 4 p.m. on Saturday. The terms were not the best. Having said that, I knew that I had no choice but to come to a deal. It was either this deal and these terms, or there would be no company. And as bad as the terms were, if the company succeeded, my team and I would make a lot of money. So I called Raul exactly at 4 p.m. and I started negotiating with him. Then Raul said, "There is no negotiation on this term sheet." I kept trying various things to engage Raul, but he wouldn't budge. After about 20 minutes of me trying to negotiate, Raul said, "It's 4:20 p.m. I believe this term sheet explodes like a pumpkin at 5 p.m. You have my number. Call me before then if you agree to our terms." Then the line went blank. We had no leverage, and you can't negotiate when you have no leverage. I talked to my advisor, Dave, and our other investor, Gil. They advised me to accept the terms, which I did. When can you negotiate with investors? You obviously have very little ability to negotiate when your only choice is accepting the deal. You can negotiate when you have leverage. The way you gain leverage negotiating with investors is when you don't need their money. Let me give you a few examples. Bill's company was cash flow positive, with annual revenue greater than $10 million. He wanted to raise money to increase his cash buffer and grow faster. At the same time, he knew that his low cash point wasn't perfect, but his company would be okay with good cash management. These circumstances gave Bill the ultimate walkaway power if he didn't like the investor terms. But let's say you need more money to survive. How do you create the leverage when you need investors' money to survive? You can, if you're lucky enough, do what Kevin's company was able to do. Kevin was raising a $20 million Series B round of funding. His company was doing well, but they needed more funding to keep growing. Kevin started raising his money early, 18 months before he was going to run out of money. This was smart because just like Bill, he didn't need the money. This gave him walkaway power if he didn't like the deal terms. Investor interest was really high in Kevin's company. 12 of the 20 investors Kevin pitched wanted access to his data room. It was clear that Kevin would have multiple term sheets to choose from. However, he needed to receive the term sheets at the exact same time to gain the upper hand in the negotiations. So, Kevin did something really smart by telling the interested investors that they needed to present their term sheet to Kevin's company before the end of the month. Sure enough, like clockwork, 3 investors presented Kevin term sheets on the 30th of the month. This gave Kevin the ability to negotiate with investors. Now, I want to warn you that you can do what Kevin did if there's a lot of interest in your deal. You will fail if you try this and there's not a lot of interest in your deal. The terms you should care about in your term sheet. I'll give you 2 that are really important. The first is obviously the valuation. But let me give you some things to consider regarding valuation, especially for early stage startups. Investors, especially VCs, need to own a certain percentage of your startup or they will not invest. If you're raising money from angels, they may be okay with a safe note, where the question of valuation is delayed until the next round. If you're raising money from friends and family, then it's best for you to set the valuation because you're dealing with multiple inexperienced investors. You get the idea, I hope. The second term you should care about is liquidation preferences. It might even be more important than the valuation. Liquidation preferences determine the order and the amount that you and investors get when there's a sale of the company. There are 2 things to consider. The first is the amount of the preference. You want it to be 1x. This means that an investor gets paid 1 times the amount they invested before you get anything back. If the preference is 2x, then the investor gets back 2 times their investment before you get anything back. The second thing to consider is whether the liquidation preference is preferred or participating preferred. You want the preference to be preferred, not participating preferred. Let's say the initial value of the stock investors hold is $10 million and the investors own 20% of the company. And let's say you sell your company for $20 million with participating preferred stock. The investor will get the $10 million back first, and then they will get back 20% of the remaining $10 million or $2 million plus the original $10 million for a total of $12 million. With preferred stock, the investor gets back the original $10 million, but they don't get any more back until the common percentage is at 80% and their percentage is at 20%. So you'd get back $10 million instead of $8 million if the preference is not participating preferred. In fact, you can see from this graph, you end up with less regardless of the sale price if the liquidation preference is participating preferred. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. Don't do this alone. Get a lawyer to help you. You can see how confusing term sheets can be. I don't believe most investors are out to screw you. However, your best defense is having an attorney that has experience with investor term sheets to help you through this process. It's well worth every dollar you spend. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video, and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the video at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.